Well, hey there. It's time to stand up and get moving. In this segment, we're running straight up to Savannah on Interstate 95 along the coastline of Georgia. Not a lot to look at, it's just interstate driving. We do cover how Little and I are adapting to the Forerunner setup for this specific cross-country trip. We share a little bit more about our experiences on Jekyll Island and our excitement for our next exit, which is Savannah. We had a camp visitor in the middle of the night last night. That was interesting. We ended up camping the north end of Jekyll Island last night. Great campsite, great, like that campground. I enjoyed that a lot. Pretty good size. Very friendly people. Accommodations were wonderful. Bathrooms were new. This sort of thing. So, good time. I just kind of sat there and relaxed, just getting out on the road, getting kind of settled in with the rig. I can honestly say because I'm taking a bunch of stuff to Oregon, so I've got a hard pack on top, I've got my tent on top, and I don't really need anything that is in the hard pack for this trip other than when I get close to New York and Boston, because I'm visiting friends, and even then I might not have to get up there, so we'll see. If I don't have to get up there, I'd be thrilled. So this is kind of a pain in the butt. Any whoosies, so when I did my last cross-country trip, I've added a case that's back there that you're not going to be able to see from this view, that's fairly long and tall, and that has my studio equipment in it and a couple of other things. That's new to the inside cab area. And then I have two smaller bags that are really nothing, like one of them's back here and one of them's down here. The rest of this stuff is what I traveled with in cab, doing a cross-country trip last fall. And so, but getting kind of settled into like your little routine and where things are at and how you unpack and pack and this sort of thing. I think I got a lot of that stuff like ironed out last night and this morning, since the first time having the tent up. I didn't set it up the way that I normally do because I just needed a moment just to chill out and just relax for a minute. And so I didn't really set up the living room or anything like that. I put the tent up, I put my yoga mat out. I didn't even take any pictures on the inside. I basically just crashed out. And last night I had asked, talking with the people that were camping next to me, I was asking if there's any critters on the island that we should be aware of. And they said, no, not really, raccoons. And I said, oh, okay, not a big deal. So I put one of my little cubes out that has spices and this kind of stuff in it. It doesn't have any food that they would be interested in it. Until that evening when I'm sitting there thinking, I have honey in there. I wonder if they want the honey. Anywho, they said that just north of the campsite that the raccoons will take food right out of your hands. Like they're brazen little guys. And I was like, oh, okay, well that's good to know. So, and I am really careful, especially when I'm going through bear country. Everything is sealed up, contained, thrown away before I go to bed, and I take that super serious. Over here, raccoon's not really a big deal. So I had a bag of these that were in there, and that was it. And it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm hearing some rustling. I have a little fan that I use because it's Georgia and Florida, and it's been 97 and 91 degrees in Savannah or excuse me, 91 degrees in Jekyll Island last night. It didn't start cooling off until about midnight. And so I had the little portable fan going on, and that was comfortable because the breeze was actually cooler, which made things bearable at least. So anywho, I have a bag of these tasty little roasted seaweed snacks. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those. I love these. Great for B12. Part of the reason why I take them, and I like them. They're munchies. So I had left that bag in there, thinking they're not going to have any interest in that, so not a big deal. It's about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I've got this little fan going. And I thought I heard like some rustling or something, because Little and I, we sleep in the bed back here. I will not sleep in a tent, especially as a solo female traveler. I am inside with Rose and Mr. G, if you get my meaning, and a couple of other friends. But the tent, I use the tent when I do decide that I'm going to stay for a little while. I'll use the tent more like a living room. And so I have, and you guys will see in future videos, I have like a little blow up CD and a little coffee table, and it's cute. It's really cute. So, and I'll stay and it's just bliss. And so anywho, I was using my little fan, and I'll turn it up. It's about like that. I'm gonna turn off the. So not very loud. It's actually pretty quiet. I love these little things. This can stay charged for like 3 days. So love this thing. Oh, and little promo here. It's got a little light too. I like that. And 3 different things. Yeah. So anywho, and I like this about it. So I had this hanging up from one of my little hooks back there, and then you can adjust it. So I just picked this up just recently, because I was just like, last time I was traveling, it was cold, so I had the electric blanket, and Little and I were toasty roasty. But this is toasty roasty in the opposite direction when you're actually trying to sleep and stay cool. So I picked up that little thing, and that works really well. So I heard some rustling, and I'm like, what is going on out there? So I get my little light that I can turn red. And so I turn that on, and then Little's up, because of course she is, and wanting to know what's going on. And I go ahead and I click to turn unlock the doors. And because I'm sitting there kind of listening, I can hear something in the tent, and I can hear the cellophane wrapper, because it's like a big bag of it, and then all of these little guys are in it, so I can hear this going on in there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like checking that out to see like what the heck. So I go to open up the door, and then I hear a little critter come out of the tent. Here's the funny little thing about this. So I get up, I look in, and there's just shit everywhere. Like, this little raccoon got into stuff, and there's little piles here and little piles there. And I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this right now. So needless to say, I go and I zip it back up, and I'm hoping that that little raccoon or raccoons are not going to come back. But anywho, so I get up the next day, and I go in, and I'm getting my workout done, because I do arms, core, legs 3 times a week. So keeps my sanity, keeps me in check. And so I go in, I just ignore it. I'm like, let me get my workout done, let me wake up, let me enjoy the morning, and then I'll worry about cleaning this stuff up. But it was so funny. Like, I've always enjoyed watching raccoons, and that little raccoon, I had left a backpack. You can't see it from here. I left a backpack in there that has my bathroom stuff in it. And so like my brushes, my toothpaste, toothbrush, this kind of stuff. And, that little critter had opened up 2 of the little zipper things. And I was just like, those little raccoons, they are so clever. They are so clever. I love raccoons. They are just, and the dexterity of their little fingers is just always so interesting watching them. Growing up in the Northwest, we have them all over the place. And I just remember watching them on the back porch in the little town that I grew up in. And I was always so curious about the dexterity. So waking up and kind of figuring out, wow, they like unzipped my zippers. Just wild. So anywho, we had all of that. And that was our fun little critter adventure in the middle of the night. Our camp guest. He didn't do anything. So it was just interesting. And I never saw him. I only heard him. He kind of, as soon as I beeped my beeper and unlocked the doors, I could hear him scurry alongside my window side. So I knew that was enough to get him moving on his way. And there were zillions of other little campsites that he could go raid. So anywho, that's the story of our little visitor in the middle of the night. So cute. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Gas Station Gossip. We look forward to seeing you in our next edition of Next Exit, where we visit Savannah, Georgia.